I'm pretty sure we all watched the video already early this morning with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, or Doc Gallows, I don't know what he's going by now, are going to be part of Impact Wrestling for months, ever since they got let go by WWE. There were talks that both Gallows and Anderson were going to make their way to Impact Wrestling. They signed the deal where it's for a shitload of money. Not only that, but they'll be able to work with New Japan Pro Wrestling once the travel ban, if you will, is lifted. Now, for a lot of people, they were expecting Gallows and Anderson to go to All Elite Wrestling. And you know what? There's a part of me that expected the same thing as well. And it didn't happen. Apparently, a couple hours ago, Gallows and Anderson dropped the podcast on Talking Shop where they talked about everything that led to them being let go by WWE, and them resigning, and all that stuff, right? It's with Rocky Romero and Ryan Satin. And one of the things were that they did have a meeting with the Young Bucks of coming into AEW. They had this whole thing planned out for them on the first episode of Dynamite on TNT, where their music would hit, they would Too Sweet the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and then they would turn around and beat them all up. That was the plan on TNT, and Gallows and Anderson regretted it. You know what? They decided to sign with WWE on that 5-year deal, and they regret it now because what could have been. But I do think down the road, could it be possible that they can make their way to All Elite Wrestling? Maybe so. Who knows, really? That is, if AEW and New Japan can work together at the end of the day. But they're going to be with Impact Wrestling. Now, a lot of people are also saying, why would Impact spoil this already? Why not just wait for the pay-per-view to get people surprised? Oh my God, you see this? I can't believe it. If you will. The news has been out there for a while now. Why make people wait? It's been out there already. I've been knowing about this. I'm pretty sure everyone out there has been knowing about it as well. At the same time, hey, you mentioned Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, right? You have them show up, make the video saying that they're going to be at the pay-per-view. It makes the consumer, right, want to purchase the pay-per-view to see, hey, what the fuck are these two guys are going to do at the pay-per-view? So I get why they did what they did. Uploading the video early to make everyone want to spend the money, if you will, for the show. And all that fun stuff. By the way, this is your Impact Wrestling Slammiversary 2020 preview and predictions. This is also another installment of Around the Point. Thank you all for watching the video, tuning in back into the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button down below. Give the video a big old thumbs up. And while you're at it, share the video throughout entire social media platforms. You can follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. A couple of days ago, I recorded my WWE Extreme Rules preview and predictions video as well. The horror show and a lot of fun stuff is in the video archives of the channel. If you have not yet checked that out, go give it a listen whenever you can. But Impact Wrestling is having a pay-per-view tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Slammiversary 2020. In my opinion, it's Impact Wrestling's biggest show of the year. I know for a lot of people it's Bound for Glory. I get why. But to me, this is the anniversary show. They always make this like a big deal. So for me, I put this above Bound for Glory. That's just me. And before I go any further, I'm going to be very honest with everyone right now. I have not watched one episode of Impact Wrestling since Rebellion Night 1, when it was Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan in that cinematic match that they did. Yeah, that was the last time I actually watched a full episode of Impact. I don't have Access TV. I watch it through Twitch, and I'll be honest with you guys, when I try to watch it through Twitch, it can be very annoying. I just hate the commercials. Melissa Santos, it just comes off very cringeworthy, in my humble opinion. I think their commentary team sucks. Josh Matthews is the bleeding shits. I'm sorry. I don't know how any Impact fan puts up with Josh Matthews. Then again, How does any WWE fan out there puts up with Michael Cole or Corey Graves or what have you? I get that too. But goddamn, Josh Matthews is the fucking bleeding shits. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I think he's doing commentary now with his wife. Whatever. I mean, to be fair, Impact kept him around for this long as a miracle. At the same time, I forgot that Josh Matthews blocked me on Twitter. I totally forgot about it. It was at a random, I think, if I remember correctly, there was at a time when he was like defending Impact at a time where Impact was getting all this shit from Destination America and all that stuff, right? And I remember he was just going at it with fans. Again, it was silly, what have you. And I think I said something, and it wasn't like me bashing him. I'm like, listen, bro, I'm on your side and all, but just relax. Take it easy, dude. Something in that regard. And I end up getting blocked. It is what it is. It's fine. Not the first time a wrestler or someone within the wrestling business has blocked yours truly and then unblocked me, what have you. It is what it is. That being said, again, I haven't really watched an episode of Impact. So I'm going into this whole thing sort of blind, if you will. I know the comments will say, how dare you, man? It's fucked up. I'm watching the show tonight. I will do a review later on tonight. It'll probably drop tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. My little cousin is having his baptism today, so there's that. But I will order the show on Fight. I am forking over the $40, even though at the same time, I ask myself, is it really worth this price right now? I ask myself that question, but it is what it is. At the same time, I will say this too. Considering the fact that, hey, it's a wrestling weekend, right? You have, again, tomorrow, WWE Extreme Rules. Tonight, you have Impact Wrestling, right? I will say this, and again, this is my humble opinion. I do think, from a wrestling perspective, I think Impact will have the better pay-per-view. From an in-ring wrestling perspective. I'm going to say that again. From an in-ring wrestling perspective, Impact, I think, will have the better show. And not to mention, there's been talks of these announcements of people showing up. Who's the fourth man in the Fatal 4-Way? Again, this pay-per-view as a whole had a lot of limbos. Like, the main event had been changed so many times. Like, originally, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be Tessa Blanchard defending the Impact World title versus Michael Elgin versus Eddie Edwards. I think Ace Austin and I think Trey Miguel. I could be wrong on that one. It's someone else. I forgot who it was, but it is what it is. If I can go back here and find it, that'll be so flippin' awesome. But again, it's been that long. All right. But again, it got changed. It got changed at the last second because, again, Tessa Blanchard didn't want to do business. And then the whole thing with the speaking out, right? Everyone spoke out, which led to Michael Elgin getting suspended, or he quit Impact, or they let him go because he got into an altercation with Sami Callihan backstage at a taping. Tessa, again, didn't want to do business. So they let her go. Not only did they let her go while she was champion. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of weird because at the same time, Tessa wasn't really under contract once the show's happening. And Tessa didn't want to wrestle during the whole pandemic. So there's that. At the same time, it's kind of fucked up too, because if you're Tessa Blanchard, hey, Impact put up with your shit for so long, and yet this is how you repay them back. Again, the original main event was supposed to, because I have the picture here, right? Supposed to be Tessa Blanchard defending the title originally versus Michael Elgin versus Ace Austin versus Eddie Edwards versus Trey Miguel. Again, the main event got changed. Like I mentioned earlier, Elgin quit. There's allegations towards him. He got suspended, and then he just got fired. Something like that. Tessa, again, like I mentioned, it is what it is. So now the main event of Slammiversary, again, their biggest show of the year, in my opinion, is now a Fatal 4-Way between Eddie Edwards, between Trey Miguel, or Trey, that's going by Trey now, and Ace Austin, and a mystery opponent for the vacant world title. And I'm looking at this card, and I'm like, where's Moose in all this? To me, Moose is the uncrowned champion. If there's anyone right now who you put the company around, is Moose. Granted, I know there's a video that leaked out yesterday, him and Ricochet, and I think it was Ricochet's girlfriend, Casey Catanzano from NXT, and someone else. They were training at this school. Well, apparently the guy that owns the school is a sex offender, which, again, I think it was dumb on their part, in my opinion. It was dumb. I would get if Casey Catanzano and the other girl, who, again, is not familiar with the business, going there, but someone like Ricochet and Moose, who know what's going on, to go there is nah, bro. Come on. I feel like they should have known better, but hey, it is what it is. At this point in the juncture, I'm not sure if Impact is gonna, punish Moose for this. I doubt it, really. But at the end of the day, to me, Moose should be the world champion. Considering the fact, from what I've heard, apparently Moose talked about the original plans for, I guess, the WrestleMania show, WrestleMania weekend, where he would have won the TNA World Title. Apparently, he is the self-proclaimed TNA World Champion, which I'm cool with. It is what it is. So I'm looking at this card. All right, again, it's a very interesting card. It really, really is. So we have here. We'll start from the bottom, work more to the top. Okay, we have the Rascals of Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier versus a team that's to be determined. They issued an open challenge. Now, you would think with Gallows and Anderson being now part of Impact, it will probably be those two. But at the same time as well, you're going to have Gallows and Anderson basically demolish the Rascals? No. The Rascals, from what I've seen on Impact, whenever I had the chance, they put on some good matches. They really have. I think here what we have is Rhino and Heath Slater, Heath Miller, or Heath now, because Heath also dropped a video, apparently, as well, with his wake-up call. Maybe he's them too. Or if not, maybe it's Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona now and Brian Myers, right? Formerly known as Kurt Hawkins, in that spot. But we shall see. But I think, again, whatever team it is, that team is getting the win. I do think, though, it's going to be Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, though. From there, we go to Moose versus Tommy Dreamer, an old school rules match, which is basically for the unsanctioned TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Like I said before, I feel like Moose should be in the main event. At this point, should have won the world title. Granted, I think they were going to go that route. I remember at Rebellion Night 2, I think it was him and Elgin going at it. I think also with Hernandez to determine the number one contender. And because Tessa didn't make it and all that shit happened, Moose awarded himself the TNA World Championship, which I think is a very nice looking belt for even from back in the day. Tommy Dreamer here, again, he got a promo a while ago on Moose, talk about how Moose lacks heart, doesn't have, the ability, the heart of being a pro wrestler, this and that. At the same time, this match is so below Moose. Like, Moose deserves better. This should be a match where Tommy Dreamer puts over Moose. Moose should just demolish Tommy Dreamer here, in my humble opinion. So I'm going with Moose, but again, he should be in that main event picture. We have, from there, we go on to the the Impact Tag Team Championships. We have the North of Ethan Page and Josh Alexander defending the Impact Tag Team title versus the makeshift team of Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock. Now, I did say a couple of minutes ago that the last episode of Impact that I watched was Rebellion Night 1, and it was Ken Shamrock versus Sami Callihan in their cinematic match. I know Sami Callihan now is debuting this whole ICU gimmick where he's hacking into shit now, whatever, right? He's no longer with OV. So now Shamrock and Callihan got together. They're now a makeshift team to take on the North. And I like the North. From what I've seen from them, from Josh Alexander and Ethan Page, very good tag team. I did say this a while ago, I think a year ago or so, right? If there was ever a time to revamp Team Canada, it's now. Josh Alexander, you have Ethan Page, you have Scott D'Amore there as well in Impact, and hell, there's rumors that Eric Young may even show up in Impact again. Why the fuck not? I'm just saying. But that being said, though, a match I want to see down the road on the independent scene whenever things go back to normal is the North versus FTR. I think everyone down the line, low key, want to see that match. And everyone's talking about FTR versus the Young Bucks in AEW. Me personally, I would much rather see more FTR versus the North. That's right. On an Impact show or on an independent show, what have you, down the road. But again, this match right here, it should be a very fun match. They've held on to the title for so long now, it feels like. I would be shocked if they have Callahan and Shamrock win the titles here. But I'm going to go with my gut here and say that the North do retain. At the same time, too, with this pay-per-view, I'm just going to say this as well. I just hope that this show is not to have matches to carry on to an episode of Impact. Because that's what I don't want to see either. I want these pay-per-views, again, to have closure with these programs, with what's going on television. Again, you're talking to someone who hasn't watched an episode of Impact in so long. Keep that in mind, too, as I'm mentioning that. From there, we go to a gauntlet for the gold match to determine the number one contender for the Impact Knockouts Championship. You have Alicia Edwards, Havoc, Kiera Hogan, Kimberly, Kylie Ray, Nevi, Madison Rain, Rosemary, Susie, aka Sue Young, Tasha Steelz from NWA, who I remember seeing, and Taya Valkyrie. So basically, it's a gauntlet match. For what it's worth, just to get the women in there. I expect this to open the show, in my humble opinion. That being said, I'm going to go either with Kylie Ray or Taya Valkyrie. But my heart says, my gut says Kylie Ray. I think Kylie Ray does get the win here. And she goes on to meet the winner of Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace, which is also for the Knockouts champion. Yes, Jordynne Grace defending the Knockouts title versus Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa. If I'm butchering the name, I apologize. But yes, Deonna Purrazzo, who was let go by WWE through NXT, right, during the whole pandemic a couple of months ago, and now she's in Impact Wrestling. I'm not sure she signed to a deal. If I'm wrong on that, I am wrong. Okay? But last time I heard, it wasn't a deal per se, just a per appearance. And I think to have her here in this match, I look forward to it. I do think, though, they could have a good match. Jordynne Grace and Deonna Purrazzo. There's no doubt about it. Okay? I did see the clip where Deonna shows up and she just beats the fuck out of Jordynne Grace. Not once, but twice. There's a contract signing, I think this past episode of Impact, with Jimmy Jacobs, and Jordynne Grace just beats up Deonna Purrazzo. But again, I think it'll be a fun match. Do you really put the belt though on Deonna Purrazzo, even if she's not currently signed to a deal? I don't think so. I think this will continue, as much as I don't want to say that, because again, this needs to be about closure, right? But you just can't have one match here. I say this ends with Jordynne Grace retaining her title, but it's not by a clean win or anything like that. It's like a no contest. Something like that I do see happening here. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Again, if I'm wrong, I am wrong. From there, we go to the X Division Championship. We have Willie Mack defending the X Division title versus Chris Bay. This should be a very fun match. Willie Mack, someone of his size to do the stuff that he does is amazing. It's cool to see him succeeding in Impact as the X Division champion. Again, it's no limits. That's the thing. It is what it is. But I want to see someone like him down the road challenge for that world title. I'm not sure if Impact still does option C. I could be wrong. If they still do, if there was ever a time to use option C, it'll be somewhere down the road with Willie Mack. Chris Bay, from what I've seen as well, is very impressive. I remember a while ago, during one of the conference calls for AEW, Cody Rhodes did say that they were going to try to bring in Chris Bay, only for Impact to tweet out that they have signed Chris Bay a while ago. So there's that. But I do see Willie Mack, though, retaining the championship. and still X Division champion. From there, we go to the main event. Yes, the main event of the evening. We have the Fatal 4-Way for the Impact World title. You have Ace Austin versus Trey versus Eddie Edwards versus a mystery opponent. Now, a lot of discussion on who the mystery opponent will be. A lot of people will tell you EC3, and I believe it will be EC3 at the end of the day. EC3 posted a video today as well, finally being free. He's sporting a new look, right? He's no longer with this whole trouble thing. It's a video where he's fighting in some like wrestling school or gym. He's beating the fuck out of it. Like he's letting out his frustration, his rage, right? From all that's had happened. And now he's free. And it'll be cool to see him back at Impact. Again, the company that made him a star at the end of the day. Do I put the world title on him? Yeah. Why not? At the same time, though, listen, Eddie Edwards is also good talent. He is going to be a lifer in Impact, to be honest with all you guys. I like the fact that we're showcasing the young talent here, too. Someone in an Ace Austin, someone in Trey. I did catch their video pack, their little video that they did on this past episode of Impact, where Ace Austin is training in Trey's school, apparently, right? In their gym, whatever. And they show up and they have like this fight scene in the gym. It's cinematic all the fuck you want. Yes, cinematic again in wrestling. But I'm okay with it. I thought it was good. You're showcasing the future. These two guys are going to be your future stars of tomorrow, right? And you're putting them on a big platform on your biggest show of the year, arguably in their biggest match of their careers respectively, right? A chance to become the world champion. Do you pull the trigger though on any of them? I don't think so right now. But soon, yes. And like I said before, like in AEW, and again, I don't want to bring up AEW way too much in this video, but I'll just put it out there. Their future stars are like the guys like MJF, Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, if you will, right? And you look at in Impact Wrestling right now, you have Trey Miguel or Trey, you have Ace Austin, you have Chris Bay, Willie Mack, right? The list goes on, but still, that's your talent of tomorrow. And you're putting them on this platform. And I'm all for that. At the end of the day, though, who wins? Again, a part of me does say it's EC3 that makes the big appearance. At the same time, they can swerve you all, right? And they put Eric Young in that spot. Eric Young, who also was a big star in Impact. Remember Psycho EY? I remember years ago, American Alucard. I'm pretty sure he's still around. Right? Would always tell me and Chase Oliver 68, that Psycho EY is the best heel in wrestling. I'm telling you right now. He would try to convince us that Psycho EY, Psycho Eric Young from 2015 Destination America, was the best heel going on in Impact Wrestling and in wrestling, period. Yes, he did have good matches with Kurt Angle. I remember that. Good matches with Bobby Roode. I remember that too. But I think, though, at the end of the day, it ends up being EC3. And you know what? We find out that he joins forces with Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. Could have been talks as well of bringing back the Aces and Eights. We'll see what that too. Likely it could be that. It could be EC3 and the Good Brothers reforming Aces and Eights. And it'd be funny if it happens, but we'll see. Anyway, again, you know, I will be watching the show. I will be doing a review. Likely, if not tonight, tomorrow morning, I will do a review. It's either one or the other. But there will be a review. Just like tomorrow with Extreme Rules, there will be a review. I'll go live once that show is over with. If I can go live tonight as well, that'd be awesome. I'll keep you guys posted on Twitter. So again, it's important that you follow me on Twitter to be notified when I go live and all that stuff. If you're new to the channel, again, hit the subscribe button down below. You'll be notified when this piece of shit goes live and I upload and all that fun stuff. All right, spread the word. Give me your predictions in the comment threads below. Your thoughts on the pay-per-view and all that fun stuff. What do you see winning and all that stuff? Or if not, let me know on Twitter at HeelSteven. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. It's Slammiversary. It's wrestling weekend. And Impact Wrestling is going to kick things off. Peace out, dorks.